Hey friends, this is The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Scholte. So this is a science fiction dystopian novel that takes place in a future where water has taken over much of the earth. There are only a few islands left where people can live, and most of the population surviving live on these giant rafts. So it's basically like man-made islands where there are cities built on these giant rafts in the middle of an ocean. And just underneath the water are the ruined remains of the cities where people used to live. And so Tempe is one of the people who lives on one of these islands, and right now when the book opens, she's 17 years old and she is alone in the world. And 2 years before, her sister had died from drowning, and a few years before that, her parents had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. So nobody knew what happened to them, they've never been seen, their bodies were never found, so everybody just assumed that they were dead. And so Tempe has been trying to save her money by scavenging in the remains of the cities underneath the surface, which people do for money. They scavenge looking for anything that they can bring back to the surface and sell, and that's basically how she survives. And so she has been trying to save her money so that she can go to Palindromina, which is this organization that can bring back people who have drowned from the dead. So they can only bring back people who have drowned. They can't bring back anybody who's died in any other way. And the people they bring back only survive for 24 hours. So wealthy people, or people who have enough money to do this kind of thing, they get to spend one more day with the people that they love who have drowned. And so Tempe is an interesting character. She's pretty tough. She's very unsentimental. And when the book opens, she explains right away that she wants to bring her sister back, not to hug her or tell her how much she misses her or loved her, but to find out what she knew about their parents' disappearance. Because after her sister Elsie died, she found out that her sister knew more than she had ever shared with her about the circumstances of their parents' disappearance. And so Tempe feels betrayed by that, and she really wants to know what happened. And so her goal is to bring her sister back and question her about what she knew. And so she finally saves enough money, and she gets her she goes to Palindromina and gets her sister. And of course, nothing goes as planned. Her sister says that she doesn't remember anything, and her sister wants to leave Palindromina, and so the two of them decide to break out, which of course is against the rules, and they go back out into the island population. And so now they're on the run from Palindromina, and they're also trying to figure out what happened to their parents, because Elsie can remember some things, but not everything, and so the two of them are basically solving a variety of mysteries, all while on the run from the scary people who run the Palindromina organization. So you also get the perspective in this story from a young man who works in the Palindromina organization with the bodies, because Palindromina basically collects the bodies of the people who have drowned, and sometimes they do experiments on them, and sometimes they're released to the families who bring them back, but they're definitely a shady organization, and he has a lot of mixed feelings working for them. And so this is a very exciting book. There's so much going on. It's a real page turner. And it's definitely an escapist story. You completely will leave the world that we're in and escape into this crazy futuristic world. I loved it because it's not scary, and it's not upsetting or too dark or anything. It's just very interesting adventure that's unlike anything I've ever read, basically. So that's The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Scholte, and it's on our middle school summer reading list.